All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Millian. I'm the president of the Private Motor Truck Council of Canada. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us today. As you probably just heard, this presentation is being recorded. So when we're done, everybody will get a copy of the recording of the presentation, and you will also get a copy of a PDF copy of the PowerPoints that are being presented today. So no need to scribble down notes on everything that you're seeing in front of you. It will be forwarded to you later today. I want to thank our sponsor, Ontario Truck Driving School, for sponsoring this webinar, which makes it free to all of those that sign up. Just to go over a few ground rules as to what we're going to do today. So after we do the introductions, we'll then get into the meat of our presentation with Robin and Hassan. You have two options for asking your questions. You can put your questions into the chat and we can answer them at the conclusion of the presentation, or when the presentation is over and we get to the Q&A period, and we'll leave roughly 10 minutes for Q&A at the end. Feel free to turn your camera on, unmute yourself, and raise your hand and ask your questions that way as well, whatever you feel most comfortable doing. That's about it for the most part. So I'm going to move into a message from our sponsor, Ontario Truck Driving School. I got a brief video that we're going to play here for you. So please give them your attention, and I will be back in a second.
Let Ontario Truck Driving School put you on the road to success. We've been training and placing drivers and operators for over 45 years. Courses begin every 3 to 4 weeks for all commercial license classes and heavy equipment. This is your key to a new career. Call Ontario Truck Driving School today.
Right. I don't know about on your end, but my end, it looked like I got all the words, but the video was freezing, it looked like. But anyway, I want to thank Ontario Truck Driving School. That video will be sent along as well. So if there's more you want to see on the video on their sponsorship, it will be provided to you as well. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Robin and Hassan to do their self-introductions and to get into today's presentation. So Robin and Hassan, take it over. I'm going to stop my share here, and I'm going to go on mute and turn my camera off and enjoy the presentation with everybody else. And if you need anything, I'll be listening. So thank you.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that. All right, so now I'll start presenting my screen and we'll take over. So of course, we here are MNP, and we want to present to you guys, of course, to talk about what potential opportunities there are when it comes to MNP, how we can assist you, and what types of government fundings and whatnot are available, and how you can realize these to create certain efficiencies and digital transformations in your organization. So that's what this is really about now. Going into the agenda here, the first topic we're going to talk about, of course, is introducing ourselves as MNP, and particularly MNP Digital, which is more so what we're working with, Robin and myself. And then we'll get into the digital transformation, what that really means, what that means for your businesses, and how that can improve your business. Of course, Robin will talk to you about real examples and how you can bring that in and how that relates to your business through seeing an exact example of it. And then we'll talk about what CDAP is, what the government funding is available for you, and all the other grants available to you that are alongside and coupled with CDAP as well, so that you can leverage government funding available to you. Then, of course, we'll get into next steps, which is number 5, how to get started with CDAP, how to continue with MNP, and finally, we'll leave some room at the end for questions. Now, before I get into that, let me just hop back one slide, and I will introduce myself and Robin. So I myself am a manager with digital advisory, and my role, of course, our team, let me just define that a little bit as well. So my role has been primarily working with many organizations, whether they're small, medium, large, or enterprise, on helping them through digital transformations, bringing in cloud technologies for better integration, automating systems and whatnot, and of course, advising in how to invest into IT. Now, our team as a whole, MNP Digital, is a national team. I'll get into a little bit of that later, but I have Robin here as well to give her a quick introduction of herself.
Yes, thanks very much. So exactly, I've been working with MNP on digital advisory for various clients, Yukon government, private industry. But my most, why I'm hosting or why I wanted to participate in this webinar was because I worked in transportation for 5 years, and I'm super passionate about transportation issues that pertain to everyone that's join this webinar. So I have a dedication and kind of a knowledge base there that I work with CCMTA for 5 years as the program manager for the Compliance and Regulatory Affairs Committee. So I thought that this program and this government money that's available was super applicable to what you guys are dealing with day to day, and I think that you're going to find it really interesting.
All right. Thank you, Robin. Okay, so let's start with what MNP is and why we're here in front of you right now. Of course, Robin alluded to that a little bit, but we at MNP are perhaps most known for our accounting services, tax and whatnot. So usually when clients hear the word MNP or the name MNP, they think tax, accounting, and audit. Of course, we have all that fun stuff, but we do have a whole digital realm to us as well. And as you can see, I won't go into all the details and the facts here, but as you can see, we are a company that's very well recognized within Canada. We are a Canadian focused company and a Canadian operated company. So while we only operate in Canada, we focus on providing Canadian services and solutions to Canadians, Canadian businesses. So that's why it's very integrated that, you come to us for this kind of support, and because we're closely working with the government on grants and subsidies available to us. So not all companies are even awarded the opportunity and the privilege to work with the Canadian government on all types of these fundings. So we are one of the larger ones available to do that. Now, when it comes to MNP Digital, of course, as I mentioned, we do have all the fun stuff, the tax and the accounting and whatnot, but we do have the digital realm as well. Now, this slide really just presents to you all the different types of service and offerings that we provide in digital advisory. Now, I want to make sure that when I bring this up, it's not really to sell you on any of these service offerings. It's mainly just to let you know that we are a very robust and diverse business or firm that provides all types of digital solutions. So I'll just highlight a couple here. There's application development, managed IT services, digital platforms, which basically means how we'll work with you to create or implement solutions for you in all types of realm of your business when it comes to technology. Now, digital advisory is just one small piece of the puzzle, but it's our job essentially to be able to provide you a solution agnostic approach. We'll look at all solutions and services available to you and guide you in a way that's reflective of the best fit for your business. So it's our job to be aware of all different types of service offerings that are presented here and beyond what MNP even offers. Okay. So the next thing I'll talk about really is what is digital transformation and why should it matter to you? Now, of course, MNP Digital that I was talking about, we are a national team. We have resources all the way in Vancouver and Halifax and provide support for everyone in between. Now, we have resources everywhere. Robin is in Ottawa, I'm based in Toronto, for example, but we have resources everywhere. And our purpose, again, is to collaborate with one another as the digital advisory team to work with our counterparts, whether they're in cybersecurity or managed IT or whatever it may be, to help provide solutions for you. Now, in terms of digital transformation, what that means is think of digital transformation as a means to get a quality of life improvement for your business. Simply what we're trying to do, and you'll see the forecast that we have set up here for you. There's an integration of systems to reduce redundancies, operational efficiency, improving customer experience, and the back office support. What does this all mean? Essentially, it just means improving your quality of life. Think of IT as an investment rather than a cost structure. By looking at it this way, you're able to really harness the power of IT. Ongoing strategies now incorporate business strategy alongside IT investment strategy. By coupling those two strategies, you're able to tackle your business in a way that's both improving efficiencies and creating a robust strategy for the next couple of years that you can implement to always realize those increased efficiencies. And by realizing these efficiencies, whether it means lower data entry, less manual effort, less paperwork, and further automation, further innovation, what this allows you to do is save your time for things that truly matter. All the admin stuff can be taken care of, all the financial needs in terms of reconciliation and dealing with bank invoices and whatnot. This can be very easily taken care of. Same with inventory management and whatnot. We'll get into a little bit more of what that really looks like. So I'll hand it off here to Robin to share a real life example of what a digital transformation looks like for a trucking company. All right, Robin, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So I'm excited for everyone on this webinar. So I've worked with Mike in my previous years in transportation for 5 years. I appreciate where Mike Millian comes from, where PMTC comes from. Where I see, and I guess, you know, we'll get into actually how the government grant operates and what you can achieve out of it. But basically, compliance for me, like being a program manager for CRA for the Canadian Council of Motor Transport Administrators, I realized that was like a huge roadblock for most of industry. So we were obviously, as you know, we were dealing with Transport Canada, all of the federal and provincial territorial governments in transportation, and as well as industry. So compliance is a huge issue, and digital transformation can help you guys achieve that. And with federal government money, which we're going to get into, that can help you do that. Compliance is kind of the main area that I saw that could apply to you. Trip inspections, for example, transportation of dangerous goods. As you know, Transport Canada conducts, you know, blitzes on TDG obligations, and maybe some of you were rolled up into that in early June, and you can, you know, speak to some of those pains that you might have experienced just because things weren't digitized. And fleet telematics, as you know, the ELD implementation came in. It was enforced in 2022 of this year. But essentially, this government funding, which is applied through the federal government, can assist you to help with compliance obligations. So if you find you're struggling as a fleet with violations or any impediment to expanding your fleet or doing things the right way, this, once Hassan gets into it, you'll understand that this is a federal government grant that will allow you to apply it to ensuring that you can be compliant, as well as just be innovative, ensure that you're optimizing your, you know, your red and black line. And so that's what I would say is the most beneficial thing for this program for your industry. Thanks, Hassan. You can continue. So essentially, this is a kind of a case and study of, maybe you're familiar with this company, maybe you're not. However, it happens to be a Gary Mercer Trucking engaged with MNP Digital to kind of improve their ability to, mostly on the HR accounting side. And you can see from these bullet points that essentially Gary Mercer was extremely successful when employing, you know, some business consulting in terms of how to optimize and improve efficiencies around how they report on ERP and various aspects of HR. So we just wanted to highlight that a trucking company has been very successful in implementing digital transformation through MNP. If you have any questions about that, you can certainly put them in the chat.
Thank you, Robin. So a couple of the things I want to highlight here as well, just of the bullets, of course, you know, we'll get into this later when we have the questions from the audience. But of course, one of the things that we look at again is I want to highlight the efficiencies that are realized through digital transformation, as well as any lack of redundancies and reducing those redundancies and whatnot as well. And the ability to get optimization of your processes through real-time decision making, right? A lot of everything that's based in digital advisory is based on the data management piece as well. It's about using the data because there's so much data available to you in this day and age. It's about truly utilizing that data in a manner that is efficient for you. So it's about seeing the right reports and the right material so that you can make the informed decision. And that's really how Gary Mercer benefited from their transformation as well. All right, so next let me get into what CDAP is and where the funding is available for you to leverage to embark on this digital transformation journey. Now, as we had mentioned, the Canadian government is supporting digital transformation because it realizes that there's a need for the Canadian economy to bolster itself up. And the way we do that is, one of the ways at least, is through digital transformation. Canadian government realizes very clearly to boost the economy, to compete with our counterparts, say in America and globally, it starts internally with the digital transformation. Now, specifically with that, the government has a bunch of programs that are paired together to provide you with CDAP. CDAP is most often referred to as this grant that's available on my screen right now, showing the $15,000 amount. The way this works is there's a couple of other grants and pieces available alongside this. The first piece that you need to be aware of is that there's a $2,400 grant available for you to build a website or enhance an already existing website. The next one is this $15,000 grant with the following criteria that qualifies you for this funding. But this grant is available as a reimbursement for you to hire a registered digital advisor, such as MNP, to develop a digital adoption plan. Simply what that means is MNP can come in, work with you to provide you a digital adoption plan, basically a report around strategy and consultation, or advise you on how you can better your businesses utilizing technology available for you. That's what the $15,000 covers. Now, the final part is a loan up to $100,000, 0% interest across a 5-year term. This loan is through the BDC. These last two pieces that I talked about, being the $15,000 reimbursement grant and the loan, go hand in hand. The $2,400 application is a separate application, again, designed for your website to enhance the website, and that's a separate application for that grant. This $15,000 piece is the grant reimbursement, but only by going through this digital advisory piece are you able to opt in for the loan. You don't necessarily have to opt in for the loan. It's, of course, your choice, but you do have to conduct or go through the digital advisory piece to even be eligible for that loan. Now, of course, here's the qualifying criteria, and we'll be providing this to you so that you can make a decision on whether or not this is the right fit for you. And of course, we're available to have those discussions as well, and I'll talk about that a little bit in the next slide of next steps. Okay, so now how can MNP help you when it comes to this grant? First of all, we'll take a look at your eligibility and provide you an assessment on whether or not you are eligible. So that's the first conversation we'll have. We'll also be able to provide you application support. So if you need someone to sit with you and guide you through how this application works and to create that for you, of course, we can work with you to go through that. Then there's the business needs assessment, the review of options, solutions, and strategy and roadmap. These last three pieces that I just mentioned, these make up the entire work behind the digital advisory piece. So what we're essentially doing is a current state assessment. We are envisioning your future target state. And then finally, we're creating a roadmap for you so that you know how to go about investing into this. All right, now that'll take me to my next slide. But before I really get into this, I'm going to pause real quick and just take a look at the chat for any questions.
I think we're good on the chat, Hassan. So I've answered, can it apply to ELDs for compliance? Absolutely. That is a digital transformation. So whether you're looking to upgrade your ELD or perhaps you weren't included in the requirements in terms of in the regulation, but you know that it's going to be helpful and probably deal with enforcement, as well as for dash cams and telematics. Absolutely. That's what this program is designed for. It's to help businesses like yours improve on digital transformation. MNP is just a designated advisor that can actually administer and help you deliver and kind of understand the step-by-step process. But absolutely, both of those things that were mentioned in the chat are eligible for this funding through the federal government.
Okay, perfect. And I'll expand a little bit on that as well. So as I mentioned, the reimbursement is only for consultation, strategy, or advisory work, whereas the loan in itself can be used for anything that is digitally enabled. So of course, if it's generating some sort of a data that you can manipulate and analyze to further expand on its functionality through digital means, that's what's covered. Now, to put that simply, we've helped customers in the past and clients in the past, of course, build out office hardware and whatnot. That may be as simple as purchasing new computers, laptops, iPads, security cameras, servers, so they can store their data, but it also covers dispatch systems and whatnot as well. So I do see a question around TMS applications. So again, as long as it's an application, it is generating data and therefore it is covered. So anything to do with your operational equipment as well, again, talking about dispatch systems and whatnot, and anything else that may be required around the actual operational equipment is covered as long as it is digitally driven. Then, of course, when it comes to softwares and whatnot, procurement of softwares, maintenance, and ongoing support or implementation needs of those softwares as well, that is all covered as well. The final piece to it is just to remember that the easy way to think about it really is that as long as it is generating data, it is covered. So think of it as the example of marketing. A marketing strategy, meaning paying someone a salary to come up with a marketing strategy, would not be covered within the loan. However, someone creating content for you, maybe a videographer or a photographer who creates this data for you to establish, again, your marketing posts and whatnot, that would be considered data and therefore it is covered. Correct. So the 15,000, and Julie, just to answer your question, the 15,000 is just for the consultation. It's for the build of this strategy that we're doing. Okay, so now let me discuss this slide a little bit, what's on my screen, to talk a little bit about what this process looks like, how your timelines may look like working with MNP as well, and your total out-of-pocket costs. So if you're interested in this program, the very first thing you'll need to do is apply on the government website. And of course, we can help you with that application process and whatnot. Next step really is once you have been approved and we have verified as MNP that you are approved, only then do we send you out an engagement letter. By sending you out an engagement letter, that's basically the contractual agreement for you to agree to work with MNP as your trusted partner and digital advisor. Once you sign that, we can begin. The way we do that is, of course, we put you in a bit of a backlog to make sure you get the right team. We do roughly 600 of these or so a year in terms of CDAP projects. So we want to make sure you're coupled with the right team that can provide you the right support. For example, we have Robin on call here, who's an expert in this category. So we want to provide you additional expertise so that you have the right technical skill and the right business skills for your specific industry. Once we have assigned you the team, we then begin our engagement, and the cost is basically split into two. There's an invoice you'll receive in the beginning of the engagement and one at the very end. So once we get started, you have the team working with you. We'll take you through discovery, envision, and strategize. These three phases are the ones that make up, again, the entire digital advisory portion. And this is what you are reimbursed the $15,000 for. In discovery, again, we're doing a current state assessment. Here's where we're trying to do a kickoff. We're conducting a couple of interview calls, and we're trying to really understand your business specifically. So we'll receive from you documents and artifacts, and we'll take a look at what you're already looking to invest in. And we'll take this in so that we can extract from it a list of opportunities. By extracting a list of opportunities, that takes us to the second phase, envision. In envision, we take that list of opportunities, and from that, we bubble it up to your top 3 most prioritized opportunities and provide you a solution for each opportunity. We then go further by providing you 3 options within each of those solutions. So for example, if what you simply needed is a dispatch system as a solution, it's our job to go out, conduct market research, do a market scan, and analyze all of that in terms of providing you exactly what those solutions may look like. So we'll provide you with options A, B, and C of different dispatch systems and providers or technologies that you can leverage or invest into to enable dispatch systems for yourself. And that's just one example. Of course, it can apply to your inventory management. It can apply to all types of equipment and technology. The final phase is strategy. In strategy, we take each of those items that we talked about, basically, as long as you have an opportunity and a solution. And then finally, 3 options, we call that one initiative. So that one initiative, once we have up to 3 initiatives, we will devise a roadmap for you. The roadmap will let you know when you should invest in initiative 1 versus 2 versus 3. And that's based on our expertise and a lot of IT investment frameworks, best practices, your ongoing investment appetite, any ongoing projects, any downtime that may be incurred. So we'll take a look at all of those factors to devise the best plan for you. Okay, so now at the end of this, you'll receive, meaning at the end of our digital advisory period, after we go through discovery, envision, strategize, you'll receive one document for us, which summarizes everything, all the activities we've gone through, all the interviews we conducted with you, and you'll receive that one report. That report in itself is called the Digital Adoption Plan. And again, that's what you're paying the total amount for. Now, your total amount, you will also receive the invoice at that point. So your total cost working with MNP is $16,500. The reason it is $16,500 is because the government, CDAP, will pay 90% of that and up to a maximum of $15,000. So of course, to get you the full $15,000 reimbursement, the price tag is $16,500. On top of the $16,500, you have to pay a 5% admin fee and any applicable taxes. Of course, you're reimbursed the $15,000, so your out-of-pocket cost is anything remaining outside of that $15,000 amount. Now, once you have received those 2 documents, you'll flip those back over to the government and you will receive your reimbursement within 7 days. So once again, let me just cover the timelines very quickly. So you first apply to the government on the government portal. That will take as little as 3 days, and the shortest we've seen is 24 hours to receive your approval from the government. Once you've received that approval, you then sign an engagement letter with MNP. So depends on how quickly you're able to turn that over, then we'll put you into a backlog. The backlog right now is looking at roughly 5 to 7 weeks, so we can engage the right team for you. Once the team is engaged, going through discovery, envision, and strategy will take you anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks on average. And that will require roughly 30 minutes of your time or a staff member's time per week, so we can conduct review, alignment sessions, and interviews, of course, so that we can build the best strategy for you. Finally, you'll receive the final report and the final invoice, which you'll flip over to the government to receive your reimbursement within 7 business days. By doing so and receiving the reimbursement, you will also receive a personalized link on how to apply for the loan. By using that personalized link to apply for the loan, it is linked directly to your CRA and to the digital adoption plan that we built for you, which acts as a business case for each and any investment you'd like to make. And that's part of the job that we have to do, is create a business case for you and also a strategy document for you. By doing so, you can then apply for this loan. And finally, the loan, the way that works is you will receive the full lump sum amount in year 1. Again, it's a 5-year term. So in year 1, you receive the full lump sum amount, and then you will, based on that, you will receive the full lump sum amount in year 2 and onwards. You'll begin an amortized repayment of 20%. And that basically is it. That covers the entire CDAP piece. So now at the very end here, we just have a segment for questions. So that's about it in terms of the digital advisory. If you have any questions or whatnot, again, we have 2 methods. You can put it into chat, or please unmute yourself and ask away.
And I want to normalize this a little bit, Hassan, just like, I know it was confusing. It was even confusing for me, and I fully understand it. So ask the questions that apply to your business, because this is the opportunity. It is a federal initiative, so there is grant money available from the federal government. If you are confused on anything we said, please ask the question, and Hassan and I will clarify. It's basically $1,500 for a digital roadmap strategy, and you can choose to implement that or not via federal grants. So if you are struggling in any way in compliance, TDG support, anything, this is federal government money we have worked with, and Hassan couldn't touch on that because we're on a short webinar, but we have multiple clients, including cheese, a grilled cheese company, and Golfomax, and different companies that have benefited from this strategy. And it's all to help support companies that struggled during COVID. So just a bit of context there. And if your company is one of those, we're just looking for you guys to ask questions, and we'll break it down for you. This was, I know there was a lot of numbers thrown at you and information, so please ask the most basic question.
All right. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to, you can either put it in the chat if you don't feel comfortable to turn your camera on and speak, or feel free to turn your camera on and raise it that way as well. Just while we're waiting to see if anybody else has any other questions, I think, one point to bring up, and the question was asked about, and I know Robin, you touched on it, but whether it could be used for ELDs. And obviously that's a relatively new technology that's into law, and a lot of companies may already have their ELDs installed. But if you installed an ELD that you found out is not working for you, just because you already have the digital technology, if it's not working for you, the money can be used to help research and install another ELD that will work for you. So it's if you already have one, that doesn't mean you can't upgrade or get something better through this program. No matter
Absolutely, Mike. The government is not distinguishing. Like, obviously that regulation came into place. There's lots of politics around that. However, that is a digital transformation aspect that 100% doesn't matter if you already had an existing ELD. This loan applies for that. So if it wasn't working for you, if you wanted to expand it, if that company was being outdated, exactly. So good point, Mike, because I know it was kind of, well, the ones who need to have it might have one, but if you're not happy with the vendor that you've selected, it doesn't really meet your needs because you kind of felt forced to make a decision, this loan can help you address that because it is a digital transformation aspect.
Yeah. And just once again, to summarize it all, the digital advisory piece, that $15,000 engagement, is just for us to go in, take a dive into what works for you and what doesn't. And from that, the loan enables you to invest in the technologies that you want to. So whether the system works for you, or you just want to increase efficiencies, or it doesn't work for you and you want us to explore what other options you have, that's what you can bring us in for.
For sure. All right, well, I'm not.
Good questions in the chat though, Mike. I just want to see, does anyone else have anything like specifically to their industry? Like, is there anything, with the TDG blitz, with, anything via violations? Okay, there's another question there. It's a good question. I think that one's for Hassan.
Sure. So again, as long as there's some sort of data being generated, it is covered within the loan. So again, that's your only real criteria for it. Of course, we can work with you. You can have a further conversation with us. Just simply reach out to us, and our contact information is available for you to reach out to as well. And we can answer or get on a call to quickly discuss perhaps what you're intending. And then we can discuss whether or not that's eligible. But generally, the rule is, as long as data is being generated, as long as it is digitally enabling, it is covered.
And I can just, Mike, anecdotally, while we wait maybe for more questions or anyone to put their hand up, I'm working with a prominent busing company right now, locally owned, family owned, and in Leeds, Grenville. And they're looking at using CDAP to improve their processes. So some of them were a bit manual, a bit behind in the technology aspect, and they are engaging with CDAP in order to access that federal government grant because they were basically going to do it anyways. So why not take the opportunity to have the grant? So I just wanted to lay that out, that I do have firsthand experience with a company locally in Ontario that's using this to kind of help them out.
Okay, perfect. There was one in the in the chat there, but it looks like Hassan answered it to Rob's satisfaction. I don't know if you want to expand on what you put in there, Hassan, or if you're good
Sure.
with that.
Yeah, so Rob, to answer your question, it is a 0% interest loan. Again, the repayment starts year 2, but again, it is 0% interest. So in this, especially in this time and day, interest rates are a little horrendous. So just based on that, it's a great initiative to, again, help you invest in certain technologies and whatnot. And the one limitation on it is really whatever the loan is for has to be related to our business cases created for you. So it relates it back to the digital adoption plan. That's why the two are linked. But yes, 0% interest.
Exactly. So if you engage us to say, oh, like, I don't like our ELD vendor, I'm just going to throw that out there. Or, you know what, TDG is throwing these new requirements on us. We got dinged in the last blitz. You know, so if we do the digital adoption plan to focus on those areas, then that's technically what Hassan's saying is where the grant's going to apply. So if you know, evaluate your current operations, evaluate where you have gaps. And if it is digitally related, this is government money that can assist you. And basically MMP is saying we can help you apply for it. We can help you answer your questions. And, you know, hopefully at the end of the day, we're your selected vendor to actually implement those. But that opportunity is up to you.
Okay, perfect. Don't see any other questions up there. Is there anything else, Robin or Hassan, that you want to add before we give people 15 or 20 minutes of their day back, I guess?
I mean, I think I'll just jump in that, you know, I see that someone in the chat has said, thank you, this was helpful. Again, if you need more information, I understand it's a little bit complicated. You're wondering, like, is there a sales pitch in here? Is there something I'm, you know, supposed to be doing? Like, our team is very good, so we can answer all those questions. Again, this is a federal government program, so we are just an accredited vendor to be able to implement it. So that's why we have the answers. That's why we're able to discuss it. So if you were feeling like, oh, I'm on the fence, I don't really understand, please just reach out to us, because we can totally answer those questions. We were just trying to be very succinct for a webinar.
Perfect. And honestly, that's exactly what I was looking to add in as well. I'll just add in a tiny little piece to that. One thing that I've seen by discussing with clients and whatnot about this program, sometimes people have the perception that digital advisors are a little bit too robust for me. I'm not at that level yet. But just to be clear, this program is available to all Canadian businesses as long as you meet the criteria. So we've worked with mechanics, fishermen, even mom and pop furniture stores. So it doesn't matter really how small you are as long as you meet that criteria. And at any level, whether you're small, medium, or a large or enterprise business, everyone needs digital advisory at this point. Everyone's using a phone. Technology's everywhere. It's through your supply chain. And there's a lot of efficiencies and a lot of dollars that can be saved for your business through simply engaging with a quick discussion to understand what digital can mean for you. So again, as Robin said, please reach out to us should you have any questions or even thoughts around this program. And if you're just looking for more information, or if you're actually looking for some advice. All right.
Perfect. And everybody will get your contact information, even those that weren't on this but registered are going to get a copy of this recording and the PowerPoint to get your contact info. So with that, I want to once again thank our sponsor, Ontario Truck Driving School, for sponsoring this webinar. Robin and Hassan, thanks for taking time out of your day to present this to our members and contacts. And everybody, hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again soon.
I want to thank your sponsor as well, Mike, and thanks for hosting us, and anyone reach out with questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Have a good day, all.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.